Squid Game The Challenge has just put out its final episode, and whether you watch the show or not, all the contestants have started coming out with some juicy behind-the-scenes gossip and secrets about the production, and we got them all for you right here. And don't worry, we won't reveal any spoilers about the last episode or who won. I'm Benedict Townsend, and this is Scroll Deep, the show that scrolls so you don't have to, so make sure to follow for all the best of the internet and beyond. So Squid Game, you might have heard of it. It's a famous Korean Netflix show about a dystopian series of deadly games. It's not called Squid Games. People love calling it Squid Games. It's Squid Game. It's a show about a series of games, but it's named after one game, the Squid Game. And it's called that because there's the shape of a squid in it. They're not all Squid Games. When they play marbles, not a squid to be seen. It's not cute like when people say Tesco's. It's just one Squid Game. The show was very famously a very on-the-nose critique of capitalism, and now it's a reality show where people just do the same thing as the show, but without people dying. So naturally, the show has attracted some criticism that they've perhaps missed the entire point of the original show. The original show wasn't really about how it's fun to play games and win money. It was about like how nightmarish our world is. But anyway, 456 contestants signed up. There was a $4.56 million pot, which is the same pot as on the actual show. And now that the show is out, members of this extensive cast have started coming out of the woodwork and revealing some bizarre tidbits about their time on the show, including the fact that they were apparently not given enough chapstick. How much is enough chapstick? But they were given condoms. So apparently people were so desperate for chapstick that they used some of the goo from the condoms as makeshift chapstick.
Where's the chapstick?
How desperate are people for chapstick? I didn't realize this was a thing. I mean, don't zoom in on my lips. If you zoom in on my lips, it will look like one of those like very detailed drawings from SpongeBob. But that's because I exclusively use condom goo. So, some behind the scenes facts about the show. 1, it was filmed in London, swinging London, baby. The contestants were only given 1,000 calories a day to try and simulate the sort of dystopian feel of the original show. 1,000 calories a day is not much. You need more than that. That's probably why the contestants were quite cranky and quite tired.
We were all sugar deprived to the point where even someone passed out and needed a glucose injection.
The famous red light, green light game, where they have to sort of walk and stop. On the show, it lasts, you know, like 20 minutes. Apparently it was filmed over the course of 8 or 9 hours, which caused a lot of complaints from contestants because they had to like stop and then stay in place for vast periods of time. And the thing is, like, yes, I get that this is probably very tiring, and because it's London, very cold, because you're just in a giant like aircraft hangar doing this. But to be fair, this is how TV production works. TV production is insanely slow. You've got like 400 people in a room, you're not gonna get that done in 20 minutes. It's gonna take hours. So really, they should have just warned the people more that it was gonna take so long. But I've seen some people online who are like, oh my God, it took 9 hours. And I was like, yes, of course it did. It's amazing it didn't take a week to film that. There's also a game where they have to walk across a glass bridge like in Squid Game, and if they pick the wrong pane of glass, they fall through to their death. But contestant Trey has revealed that even though they were about 15 feet up in the air, they didn't actually fall. What they had to do is if they stepped on the wrong pane, they had to pretend to fall, and then they would get a stuntman in, and the stuntman would do the fall for them, which one, seemed like a really fun day to be a stuntman. Because like some days of being a stuntman, it's like, great news, Gary, we're gonna set you on fire and throw you into a quarry. And then some days it's like, you get to just keep falling on pillows for a while. That's a fun day. Also, I was like, do they have a stuntman for every possible contestant? Like 50 stuntmen of every like shape and size? Or was there just like one very talented stuntman with an endless series of wigs? But it was good enough that apparently no one noticed it wasn't the actual contestants falling. There was also apparently multiple contestants who were secret millionaires, which is wild considering, you know, it's all about the $1 million prize pot, multi-million-dollar prize pot. But then when you think about it, that's actually very in line with the show Squid Game. There's also been some tension between the contestants, which is to be expected when you have 400 people locked in intense competition, surviving on 1,000 calories a day, who have to sleep in weird Roald Dahl style giant bunk beds. They were basically all sniping at each other. They apparently have some epic WhatsApp chat where they all kind of get mad at each other. Apparently one of the dramas was that one contestant was framed as the villain. Tia, you're better at remembering the numbers than me.
432.
432 was very much painted the villain. Painted in the sense of all the things he said and did made him seem like a villain.
He was a villain.
I don't think he can really blame the edit for that. I think that was very much on him. But apparently the real villain among the contestants, in terms of who everyone was kind of mad at, was
198.
198, who we only saw briefly at home, but apparently everyone was mad at 198 on the show. That was apparently the the true villain of the series. Which makes sense because this is a guy who's known for being annoying on TikTok. In fact, we actually covered him once on this very show. He was the guy who did the prank where he was like swinging a bag near an old woman to get a reaction out of her, I guess. And unsurprisingly, I didn't think that was great. Now, there's been a lot of discourse around the show. It's been a very popular show. It's done well. Some people have been quite negative about it. Netflix shared a clip of this guy kind of having almost like a panic attack as he tries to do the like cookie cutting challenge, and then he's like crying, and everyone's like, this is quite distressing footage. And you know, there was a comment that said, quote, "This show should have never been made. The original was literally an example of why something like this shouldn't exist in real life." Although I will say, in the defense of the show, they did kill people in the original Squid Game, which they're not doing now. I'm sure it was a distressing experience, but you can just go home. They're not shooting you in the head. I don't think it's good that these people were distressed, but you know, they weren't killed. One of the producers of the show came out and tried to be like, oh yeah, no, it's not as dystopian as the real show. Although I will say, every single time they cut to like an interview with the contestants, they're never there going like, I'd love to win $1 million so I can go on a fun vacation. They're always like, I have to get $1 million or they'll take my house. And it's like, why did you edit the show this way if you didn't want it to be dystopian? Like, I do understand the criticism because they really make it seem like life or death for these people. Not literally, but they make it seem very important to these people that they win this money. And so when they don't, it feels very heavy. I've just put it together that they wear squibs, not squids, which are the things that explode. But they didn't make it red because they didn't want it to be gory, so they made it black, which is like squid ink. I'm so smart that I connected those dots 8 weeks after I watched that episode. By the way, if you want to see 20 to 30 minutes of people spitting and licking in an ASMR fashion, this is the show for you. Can you imagine what that room smelled like? You got like 100 people just spitting for half an hour. Oh, horrible room.
We got chapped lips.
Yeah, yeah. Spitting through their condomy lips. But whether you're pro or against, season 2 is happening. It had 20 million views in its debut week. It was incredibly popular. They're already casting for season 2. There was a quote from someone from Netflix who said, let me just do my Hollywood voice. "There was no red light in our decision to green light season 2 of Squid Game: The Challenge. The most ambitious unscripted show we've premiered at Netflix." We've premiered. Will you be signing up for season 2? Do you agree with the criticisms of the show? Did you watch the show? Did you like the show? Questions for you. Personally, my favorite bit was when the squid went squid mode and squidded on everyone. Just a little joke. Just a little joke for us all. Let us know in the comments down below, and make sure to follow Scroll Deep. Scroll Deep? More like squid. No, actually no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. You're on your own, Squid. You always have been. Taylor Squid. I think he squidded, but I just can't prove it. 'Cause you know I love the player, and you love Squid Games!
Let's go!
Let's go!